98% of potential customers leave your website the same way they came in, as potential customers. Why? Because they can't use your website. This is why user experience is so important. Did you know that 98% of all traffic bounces? Literally, everyone is spending thousands of dollars on marketing and sales, but 98% of people landing on your website aren't doing anything for you. So keep watching, because with the help of our certified UX expert and psychologist, Santiago Correa, you'll understand a practical framework to get this right. Let's dive in. So there's actually a secret sauce. Well, just kidding. Basically, most people don't do the main thing that you need to do, which is market research. People have an idea in their head. Maybe they've watched a few videos, maybe they've talked with customers, and they think that's enough. So they'll open up WordPress or Wix and start trying to build a website themselves. This isn't what it means to do real market research when designing a website. The market research that you need to do, yes, involves that, but more specifically, you have to ask your customers using a website wireframe, which is basically the bare bones of a website, if it makes sense for them, if that's how they would search for their information. Why? The website is for them, not for you. Don't forget that. But maybe you're asking, where should I start? Yeah. So choose one of these 3 strategies and you'll be fine. We do all 3. Step 1, Google your market leaders, take screenshots of at least 5 home pages, write down what they have in common about their structure. What is structure? What pages they have in their navigation bar, which is the one at the top, what order the things that are in the navigation bar appear in, from left to right, top to bottom, and what order the content appears in within each page. But how do you classify content? You can classify content in the following 4 ways, specifically for our purposes. So, number 1, description of what their service offers. Number 2, mention of the pain point that they address. Number 3, social proof of their effectiveness. And number 4, mention of how you obtain it. What you're doing here is getting the right information about what's working today in your industry to be able to make a good-ish wireframe so that you can present it to your target market and then they can make the final tweaks. So I said 3 strategies. Here's the second. This might be shocking. Did you know you can literally call up your target market and just ask them, say, I'm just starting out and want to do some research about insert target market. Would you be against helping me out with my research? Once it's done, this will eventually help you. Something like that. Basically showing them that you're going to give them value eventually and that you're doing this to help them. Hey Nick, that sounds great in theory, but how do I reach my target market? How do I get them on the phone? Well, if you're a B2B business, then you can use something called Apollo.io. With it, you can get 25 to, I think, 10,000 free phone numbers. This is not sponsored, it's just what we use. And I'd recommend using a verifying tool to check that these numbers are still valid. And once you do that, congratulations, you have your target market's phone numbers. And yes, this works even if your target market is really high up in the food chain, like founders and CEOs. But what do you do if you're B2C? Well, that's a bit trickier to get, but easier to follow through on. So you don't have to go past a secretary or something. But basically what you want to use is Yellow Pages, Facebook groups, Yelp, Instagram, and Twitter. There's a bunch of web scraping tools, which basically means extracting that data without having to do it manually, that I'll leave in the description below. The third strategy is sending out forms to your target audience. You can do this if they're in your warm circle through whatever messaging tools you have, or you can use Apollo again to get those phone numbers and send the messages through there, or the social media if you're B2C. So that people actually respond to your forms, we recommend using Typeform. Not sponsored, again, it's just what we use. Why? Because it asks stuff one by one, and you know, if you've ever seen a form with 20 questions to answer, you don't feel like doing it. Well, if it's just one by one, then it's easier to manage. Okay, Nick, but what about the UX? So have you ever tried to find pricing on a website to make a buying decision and you ultimately end up in their social media or their About Us page? Yeah, that's bad usability. And it's exactly why 98% of people on your website leave without becoming clients. To get this right, clearly indicate the current user's location on the site. Feeling lost is no fun. A simple "you are here" or an underline is enough. It'll do wonders. Step 2. To get this right, you can follow a few steps. steps. 1. Clearly indicate your user's current location on the site. You can accomplish this underlining the section they're on, or a "you are here" little hand symbol, arrow, or something. It'll do wonders. Step 2. Don't reinvent the wheel. Keep each section where most people are accustomed to finding it. This is why market research is also so important. But Nick, how do I know what sections or pages to have? Should I have more pages and less scrolling, or the opposite? I'll let our UX expert explain.
If 70-year-olds can use it, so can everyone else. In 2015, we found out how. The research paper Improving Usability from the National Institute of Health by Christian Davis and Dick Horse concluded that less scrolling and more pages was the answer. Each page has to have a separate and specific purpose. When content is divided, it becomes way easier for your user to get what they want. The general rule is homepage, contact, plus the amount of services that you offer. That should be the number of pages that you have.
Thanks, Santiago. Well, it's clear that usability is not just a fancy term. And although the rave right now might be 3D designs and animation, it's the cornerstone of user satisfaction. So, for the time being, forget about looking pretty. It's about creating an intuitive experience that practically escorts users to their destination without a hint of frustration. Once you're sure that your target market can get what they want out of your site, now it's design time. So, if you're looking to escape the 98% bounce club nightmare and transform your website into a user-friendly paradise, smash the like button and subscribe for more content. Keep it user-friendly and watch the clients come. You can check out my agency, Crystal.io, in the description.